Brooke Redden, and I'm the Vice President of Redden Concrete.
I'm Sarah Cecil, and I'm the Financial Controller for Raw Resources Group.
Hi, my name is Angie Robb, and I handle payroll and benefits for Morris Drywall.
Hi, my name is Holly Reynolds, and I am the accounting manager of Martin Zonbeck.
My name's John Kresek. I'm president of JFK Electrical. It was formed in 1988.
My name is Tyler Hoppy. I am the company controller at HBS Painting.
My name is Brittany, and I'm an administrative assistant with W&W Structural.
So I'm Josh Edwards, and my company is Expedition Contracting, and we are a small commercial contractor in the Phoenix Valley.
The production increase that I feel that we've received from WorkMax as a whole is tremendous. From the ease of clocking in, taking a solid maybe 5 minutes grand total on a job site in the morning, knowing that time is logged perfectly in the way it's supposed to be, and most likely in the right place as far as job costing is concerned, all the way to the ease of clocking out in the evening when they get done at the job site. Just knowing that day is complete, I feel is not only rewarding for our payroll department, but also for our superintendents, because I can't imagine the stress that the superintendents would endure on Friday evenings knowing, oh man, I was so busy this week and I did not keep up with my time throughout the whole week. And now I have to figure out a way to put all of this in and get it into my department so I can get all my guys paid. And I can only imagine the stress that they had from that. So just the overall ease from that has been tremendous. But the other item that I wanted to talk about that I feel has been a gigantic success in our field has been the forms. The forms module inside WorkMax has been key to our success. It has been able to streamline so many different processes, all the way from requesting vacation to notating an incident that happened, all the way to submitting a poor report or an entire safety stand down that we had. I have 6 pages of reports created inside our WorkMax login that these guys can access. And these forms are filled out. It's easily done. All of the fields are set up perfectly. And as soon as it's done, they sync the app and boom, it's exactly where it's supposed to be here in our office and whoever's email is needing to have that in an instant. The forms part of it has been just as exciting as the timekeeping side of it. So as far as the return on investment, I would calculate basically a savings of 1 hour per day per employee for the year. And essentially what that calculation came out to, if you're running a man-hour average of $18 an hour, which I know today is probably a little bit more, but let's just be very simple here. We are looking to average around $1.6 million in savings. And the way that calculates is basically, if you were doing a rounding feature where people are getting to the job site 15, 20 minutes late, they're sitting on their lunch hour for 10 or 15 more minutes, and maybe they're leaving 10, 15 more minutes prior to what they said they're leaving. Because if you think about recording time, you say, oh, 8 to 5. I was there 8 to 5. Well, what if you were only there 8:30 to 4:30? Well, that equates to 1 hour. And the other thing that we did inside our system is that we set it on to the minute recording of time rather than a roundup or anything like that, because I'm telling you, those roundups get you. And so just on a very basic level, we did an average of 1 hour per day and calculated that out. And like I mentioned, that came out to $1.6 million.
So it was taking our payroll specialist around 3 days, 4 days to enter all of those time entries. Now she can look at those entries and have them processed within a day. So she used to import time every Wednesday, and now she's importing it before she leaves on Monday evenings into Computeries. So that's, just that alone, the savings in her time has been huge. The savings in the field, the supervisors, we have it set up so that each of the supervisors has to review the time for their employees. After they do that, they have to sign off on it. Terry or myself look, we see that it's been signed off on, and we're ready to process it. So I would say I would tell a friend of mine, definitely go for it because it's going to save you money and just the convenience of it. And I also like knowing that I can log into that system and say, okay, did Joe Smith come to work today? Where did he clock in from? I like knowing that who is actually on that job site versus those paper timesheets. We didn't have that. We may not know until a week from now if they were actually there or not.
So a few of the benefits that WorkMax has provided to us is the facial recognition program. Prior to being able to have this technology, we did have an issue with ghost employees. We not only have Morris Drywall employees, but we do subcontract a lot of our work out to other companies. And we were having an issue with people writing down their names, saying that they were there and they were not. With this facial recognition program, we're able to actually save a picture of them on their profile in WorkMax and be able to compare that to their clock in and out pictures, which has completely eliminated the issue that we were having with the ghost employees. Another benefit that has saved us is the location on the time clock. We actually had a foreman that we suspected that he was maybe clocking in prior to being on the job, clocking out after getting home from the job. And because of this location, we were able to see, yes, he clocked in well before he arrived to the job site and clocked in well after he got home from the job site. And so that helped us solve that mystery, and we were able to handle that with that foreman. Another nice feature of the WorkMax app has been that we can change the language to Spanish. A great deal of our labor is Spanish speaking, and so it makes them feel more comfortable when they know exactly what they're clocking into, what they're signing their name to, what they're agreeing to. So that has been very helpful with us out in the field as well. Since transitioning to the WorkMax program, my job has become tremendously more efficient. I'm able to get the time entered much quickly, and therefore payroll is not anywhere near as stressful as what it used to be. Keying in hundreds of employees' time used to take 2 to 3 days alone, just keying in time. But now I'm able to export the hours, Monday before lunch. And therefore, any subs that we use, I'm able to get the hours to them so that they have adequate time to invoice us. And so it makes their payroll a lot more efficient as well. The real-time visibility has been very beneficial to our project managers. They no longer have to wait until the week is done or the job is done in order to get a look at those hours that are being put on the job site. It's also very beneficial when it comes to our general contractors. If they call and want to know exactly how many men are on a job site, we have satellite offices, but we are not located where the job site is. And so we no longer have to drive to that job site, count heads. We can simply look at the WorkMax app, pull up that job, and see exactly how many men were there, what they were doing, because it's based on job code, what time they got there, what time they left, and our general contractors really appreciate that visibility.
Working with paper time cards versus About Time or WorkMax and having that time card app that I've noticed, the biggest issue is having the information on time when you need it, first off and foremost, because I can go online and I can run a report and I can see their information. Whether or not they clocked in and out, that's another separate issue to address. But I'm not chasing down paper time cards and I'm not calling 15 guys looking for their time or saying, I can't read your time card. What is this? And how do I code it? So it is nice to have that streamline and that ability to run your reports when you need to run reports. And for us at Martin Zombek, we run daily review reports and send it out to the field so they can correct it on a day-to-day basis. And knowing that on Friday or Monday when you do your payroll, it's almost all reviewed. You're only going to be reviewing a couple more days, and it makes the whole payroll process so much easier knowing that the rest of the week has been reviewed and corrected and everybody's up to date. The overtime rules in WorkMax and the pay rates are definitely utilized. I know that was something initially set up in our training, so it's not something that I've had to go back into and adjust. They're working well. Anything over 40 hours, automatically when you process it gets pushed over to overtime, so I don't even have to think about it. And then using the Connect Max to remote into our software, it takes that overtime rate and puts it at the correct earn code in our software system. So I can't complain about that. It's nice to not have to think about it, and to know that if we do it correctly in WorkMax, it converts over correctly in our software system, and we just do a once over double check and everything looks great. Set it and forget it.
The day-to-day is now boom. At the end of the day, the project managers can go and look at who was there, how long they were there. They have all that at their access daily versus the old Excel spreadsheets wouldn't come in till Monday. So they really didn't know that this guy missed half a week. So the information is right then. The payback is, I don't know how you can really measure the payback, because the information is there. There's no more, oh, I was there at 6 o'clock or I was there at 5 o'clock. You just didn't see me. You see with the GPS exactly where they logged in. You see their picture. Those things. And the same thing with the foreman. It makes their job so much easier versus chasing these guys around trying, on the bigger job sites, we may have 2 or 3 entrances where they're coming in. So the foreman has a hard time. Some of the jobs have a sign-in sheet. So what saves that now, the foreman sends the sign-in sheet, and actually the payroll clerk checks the sign-in sheets to the time, does that all ahead of time, and then alerts the foreman, hey, he logged in at 6:15 on his sign-in sheet, but he's saying that he was at work at 6. So the foreman has a lot more information now.
The cloud visibility aspect for us is imperative. At times, we run about 45 guys, multiple different projects. Being painting contractors, we do, like I know a lot of fellow service providers and contractors, you work based off the trade in front of you. So there's times you're scheduled to be there on Wednesday to get going on the priming, but unfortunately the drywall guy didn't get finished up the day before. You have to make these adjustments on the fly as a contractor. You have to figure out, okay, where is this employee? What's the next closest job I can send them to? What's convenient? WorkMax helps with that. It gives you a live visual map you can look at. You can, run in multiple different guys on different crews. Sometimes you forget, hey, where is so-and-so assigned? I think he's over at the Johnson project. Oh no, a different supervisor moved him off that project. Having the ability to look in WorkMax and just see who's clocked in, who's not clocked in, what projects have they clocked into, where were they when they clocked in. Again, getting that call at 7:04 on Monday morning. Hey, where's my superintendent? He's not on the project. Shoot, let me look. When in the old days, you're picking up your phone and you're calling him. Likely when a guy's late to work on Monday morning, he's probably not picking that call up. He wants to get on the project and have some good news for you before he answers that call. But as we know, you want to hear, hey, I'm at the gate, I'm 5 minutes away, so I can relay that information. WorkMax gives me that. I can literally look at it. I don't need to call him. I can jump on there, see, we have a long line at the gate, call the client back or the GC or whoever and say, I can see him. Here's where he's at. Within 5 minutes, he should be there. That live ability to have that data and see who's where are they at, what are they doing is imperative for us. Don't let the smolder of time collection smolder in the background, because I think that smolder is costing us a lot more than we realize, both in customer trustworthiness, minutes here and there. When you got a crew of 40, 50, 100 guys, 6 minutes in the morning and 4 in the afternoon, that stuff adds up. And I think at times it's easy to just kind of ignore it. It's not one of those things that may be glaring at us in the face of we got to do this or else. And it gets really easy to kind of say, our current system's fine. It works. It may work, but you can drastically improve your operations. You can drastically improve. I think it's already even improving some trustworthy or some trust between our employees and us, where we're saying, hey, this is your protection. You don't ever have to hear that, well, John was the superintendent. He was doing the time, and he put me down for 3:30, and I worked till 4:30. Good news. You never have to worry about that again. As long as you're clocking in and out, you're covered. So it brings more benefits, more advantages, time savings, money savings. I think both in volume more than you expect, and I think it solves problems you may not even realize. That trusting of the employee to the employer. It obviously, perspective is important. If we have a negative perspective and it's, this is Big Brother watching me. Well, if that's what you're cemented in, then you can have that perspective. But if your employee can be open-minded, and you can teach them some of that stuff of, hey, overtime. If you're doing, there's been times overtime starts after 8 hours. There's been times guys maybe take Friday off, but they worked 9s Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, but they weren't clear on that. They didn't get the overtime for that last hour of the day, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, because they didn't go over their 40. In the state of California, it's either over 8 per day or over 40 per week. That fixes that. I tell them, hey, that protects you. That makes sure you get the overtime you're entitled to. Even if it's a half an hour on Monday, you're getting your overtime. So there's other advantages that it brings that you may not even be aware of. So I would just really encourage anyone who's on the fence, don't let the financial aspect of it slow you down. I've used some of the cheaper alternatives. They're cheaper for a reason. I'm not trying to trash them, but they are cheaper for a reason. You are not getting the tech support you're getting with WorkMax. You're not getting the customization. You're not getting the onboarding process. These are big things. When you don't get onboarded correctly and the software doesn't work correctly, your user experience is not going to be a positive one. These are the things that I think people overlook. They try and save a little bit on onboarding or training or whatever, and it negatively affects their experience. You can tell WorkMax has the system developed the way they have it developed because it's a proven winner. And when you follow the steps they have set up for you, all you have to do is be willing to show up. If you have an open mind, you're willing to show up, do what they ask you to do, and you're willing to get it deployed in your field. I would say the most difficult part is getting your employees to use it. We all have different types of crews and different types of individuals working for us. For me, that's the biggest challenge, but technologically, not complicated at all. Very streamlined. I think we did a few hours of training, done, up and running. So don't be, to wrap that up, don't be afraid of financial aspect. Don't be afraid of technology aspect. Don't be intimidated by it. It's less than you may think, and the rewards it brings you are substantial.
So one of my favorite things about WorkMax is the fact that I can see all of the guys that are working for us at one place at one time. It's really convenient to see where they are, so I don't have to go and speak to our superintendent or the owner of the company to try and figure out where the guys are. It allows me to, fully understand who they're with, who's driving our trucks, because we also have that asset aspect of WorkMax as well, so they can choose which one of our trucks that they have. So if we ever have any maintenance issues or anything along those lines, I know who's driving it, and I know where they were that day. So working with WorkMax, one thing that is actually extremely helpful is having all of the qualities of a foreman's, role in one app. So once they log into the app, they have, timesheets or their clock in, clock out system. They have just a click away. They have their daily logs and their toolbox talks, along with, any incident report forms that they might need, along with tracking assets and equipment as well. It's one thing that I think made their life much easier, than going back and having different forms or different applications to have to take care of all of these different roles that the foremans really do have to accomplish within their job. So having those all in one place just by a click of a button, I think is extremely helpful for our foremen and our superintendents. On a day-to-day basis, I think some of the aspects of WorkMax that I really, really enjoy and I think really do help not only me, but our superintendents and the owner of our company would probably be our daily logs. It's really convenient that they can, put in photos of what they were working on that day, the material that was delivered to the job site. They can make notes throughout the day. They can save their daily log and then finish it at the end of the day. Throughout the day, they can make whatever notes and take whatever pictures that they might want to take. I think that that's one thing that has been really super helpful, just because you go throughout a 10-hour day on the job site, you're not going to remember everything that has happened. So it's really convenient for our foremen and our superintendents to look back at those forms and really, understand what was going on the job site.
How's WorkMax made us be more successful as a business? WorkMax has been it's been great because it's made us more of a mobile company, and by that I mean our teams are able to they're able to drive from home right to the job where they're going to be working for the day, or even multiple locations for the day. But they can clock in when they get to the job versus having to come to an office or a single meeting point. And then, when I was growing up, it was like you're punching the time clock. Everybody's standing in line at the factory time clock, and you don't need that anymore. So it's made us more profitable in that sense, where guys are actually clocking in at the job, they're working there, they're doing what they need to do to make money for the company, instead of coming back to the office or coming to the office and then coming back at the end of the day and standing around at the water cooler, essentially costing us money instead of making us money, which has been great for us. So, and as we grow, it simplifies that as well, where we don't have to have a big corporate office. We can have a small office space, and people can work remotely, which is really great. I mean, we do everything from forms for billing to obviously the time clock punch in, geofencing. That all those things they're great. We really enjoyed that. So if someone was on the fence about WorkMax, what would I say to them? I think I'd ask them if they like to waste money. Because if they like to continue to waste money, keep doing it the way they're doing it. Because with WorkMax, it seriously makes it so easy. The time tracking piece of everything and the forms, that we can spend time doing what we need to be doing, not the office work of going through paperwork and whatnot. It makes it real simple, really easy, and that's what I would ask them. Why do they waste so much time and money?